Selena Gomez took a deliberate, slow breath as she quietly stepped through the side entrance of the sealed federal courtroom, bypassing the glare of cameras and the press frenzy that normally accompanied her public appearances. Here, there were none of the usual flashing lights or cheering crowds, only a thick, palpable silence, heavy with anticipation and something unspoken that lingered in the air like a storm about to break. This was not a stage, not a red carpet, not a moment of glamour or performance. Selena was here as a witness, a reluctant one perhaps, but one whose presence commanded the entire room's attention. The spectators, the jury, the judge, and even the defendant all fell into an uneasy hush as she slowly made her way to the witness stand. She raised her right hand with measured composure and took the oath, her voice so soft and frail that the court clerk politely asked her to repeat the words. She complied, steadying herself, then lowered her hand and settled into her seat. Not once did she look toward Diddy, whose expression seemed unreadable but tense. Instead, she fixed her gaze on the judge, as if seeking some justice beyond the walls of that courtroom. Then she began to speak, her voice fragile but resolute. "I didn't want to be here," she whispered, barely audible, her voice cracking almost immediately as if the weight of the truth was too much to carry. "But I couldn't live with myself if I stayed silent." Her eyes glistened with tears that soon overflowed and ran down her cheeks, and although she fought to maintain control, the raw emotion spilled forth uncontrollably. The courtroom seemed to freeze in that moment. The only audible sound, the faint rustle of a pen falling somewhere in the distant back row. Suddenly, without warning, Selena broke down, but it was no sensational breakdown engineered for headlines. It was quiet, painful, real. A human being forced to relive a memory she had buried for years, a memory so haunting that silence itself seemed inadequate. She recounted the night of a private charity event at Diddy's mansion in Beverly Hills, where she had been invited unexpectedly at the last minute by a mutual acquaintance. The glittering world of A-list celebrities, designer gowns, valet parking, and security personnel had initially dazzled her, but beneath the surface, something felt deeply wrong. Locked doors barred certain rooms, and the presence of girls who were ushered away and never returned cast a shadow over the evening. She remembered asking where the bathroom was and being told to use one outside because the others were off limits to guests. A strange and chilling detail she could not ignore. Against her better judgment, curiosity compelled her to walk down a hallway where one door was slightly ajar, revealing a scene she would never forget. A young girl, no older than 17, crying on the floor, two men standing over her. One, holding a phone, and in the background, Diddy silently watching. Selena whispered, "I froze, I didn't know what to do. I backed away before anyone could see me." She left that night without telling a soul. The prosecution did not interrupt her testimony, as her words alone hung heavy in the air like an unbreakable truth. "That night changed me," she said softly. "Not because I was hurt, but because I saw someone else hurt. And I walked away." The atmosphere in the courtroom shifted palpably. The judge's expression grew more serious, more alert. The prosecutor rose slowly and gently asked Selena to describe the girl further. Selena closed her eyes and relived the terror. The girl's smudged makeup, her silent despair, the unmistakable hopelessness that radiated from her small frame. "I remember her red dress," Selena continued, her voice quivering. "It looked expensive but didn't fit her properly, like it was forced upon her." A court officer wheeled in a locked case and carefully pulled out a clear evidence bag, containing that very red dress folded neatly. Gasps rippled through the courtroom, and Selena's hand flew to her mouth as tears streamed down her face, not from shock, but heartbreak. The dress had been found months earlier in a sealed storage unit linked to one of Diddy's assistants. This was no mere coincidence. It was concrete proof, binding the nightmare Selena had witnessed with undeniable reality. After a brief recess, Selena returned, her composure stronger but no less burdened. She recounted being warned not to speak of what she saw, cautioned that the house belonged to a powerful man, and that silence was demanded for her own safety and career. Her voice cracked again, this time with guilt and sorrow. I spent years wondering what happened to that girl, whether she escaped, whether she was okay, whether she remembered me looking at her and doing nothing. No one in the courtroom doubted her now. Even Diddy seemed visibly shaken, his usual confident demeanor replaced by nervous glances and slumped posture. The prosecutor presented a guest log from the night's event, polished and formal, filled with celebrity names, but at the very bottom, handwritten entries stood out, one circled, reading simply, "Guest of SC, Miss Gomez." Selena explained, "The girl was never introduced, never mingled. She was hidden, isolated." With the judge's permission, Selena produced a crumpled, water-stained note she had written the morning after the party. "I saw something that didn't feel right. I can't tell anyone. No one would believe me. But if she disappears, I want someone to know I saw her." The courtroom was silent again as the note was placed beside the red dress, two silent witnesses to a truth long ignored. The defense sat silently, folders unopened. No strategy yet for this level of testimony. The defense attorney carefully questioned Selena, suggesting that under the stress of trauma, memories could distort or fade. Selena's eyes did not waver. "My memory didn't distort. It sharpened," she said calmly, pressed on why she had not reported the incident immediately. Selena explained she was just 24 and had been warned by people she trusted to stay silent or risk destroying her career. "You're right," she admitted quietly. "I didn't speak up then, but I'm speaking now." Attempts to undermine her credibility by questioning her mental health were met with steady, unwavering resolve. "I've battled anxiety, depression, exhaustion, and survived. What it taught me was to trust my instincts because when I didn't, people got hurt, including me." The jury shifted in their seats, the judge signaling the defense to stop the line of questioning before it crossed into character assassination. More witnesses came forward. A former event planner testified about a secret room, Room 9, deliberately excluded from blueprints and staff knowledge. She described a security officer's panic when footage of the room was ordered deleted after a guest accidentally entered, and how she was abruptly removed from the event contract the following day. Emails presented as evidence confirmed the deliberate concealment of this room, referred to only as storage. A former private security guard described seeing a barefoot young woman wearing a handwritten S wristband wandering the hallway late that night. He tried to intervene but was stopped by private guards. In his personal log beside the 10:30 p.m. slot, he noted simply, "Red dress." He confessed never reporting what he saw, fearing loss of his contract. The court was then played a 27-second audio recording recovered anonymously. Diddy's voice ordering, "She's perfect. Keep her calm. Don't let her out of that room till I say." A terrified female voice asked, "Where am I supposed to go?" Followed by a cold male voice saying, "Just relax. It's part of the experience." The defense objected, claiming fabrication, but forensic analysis confirmed the recording's authenticity. Another former assistant described two guest lists, one public, one secret, with many names omitted or represented only by photos. She admitted seeing the girl in the red dress but was told to stay in her lane. After years of silence, enforced by non-disclosure agreements and financial threats, guilt compelled her to finally speak, even presenting a written apology to the girl's family should they ever learn the truth. The final witness, Nicole Turner, a former singer with a vanished career, gave chilling testimony via closed-circuit video. She described being drugged, locked in a back room, told to forget the night if she wanted to remain safe. Her emotional statement underscored a pattern of abuse, fear, and silence that permeated the entire system. The prosecutor summarized, "This was no isolated incident but a pervasive system built on control, fear, and secrecy, now unraveling piece by piece." The judge reminded the jury of the moral gravity of their decision and urged them to let the evidence speak. As the courtroom slowly emptied, those present lingered, whispering prayers, holding each other, eyes fixed on the red dress displayed like a silent sentinel bearing witness to a truth long concealed. This was no longer a mere trial of one man. It was a reckoning with a broken system, and the world was finally watching as it began to crumble.